So hi and welcome to Lisa Unplugged. I'm Lisa. Now get a brew, sit by the fire and let's have a conversation. So today's podcast is all about Christmas traditions around the world. We're going to be covering Germany, Scandinavia, Rome, different traditions that they all have from years and years and years ago. Some might have dates, some don't. So enjoy. So the first one is the Norse celebration of Yule from the 21st of December. Now, the winter solstice through January, so this would go from the 21st of December right through January. Now, in Scandinavia, they would celebrate by bringing massive logs, and it was basically a celebration of the return of the sun. So the son, fathers and sons would go out and bring logs, and they would set these logs on fire. Now, while these logs are burning, they would feast. Now, these logs could burn up for up to 12 days. Now, the Norse believed that each spark from the fire represented a new pig or a new calf that would be born that coming year. If you are a pagan, a Wiccan, a druid, Yule is celebrated with Yule logs that we get a small log, we cut out sections, put candles in it, and basically, obviously, unless you've got a log fire, you can't really burn it. Some tend to have a fire outside and burn the log for prosperity and a great coming year. Obviously, that came from Scandinavia. So the next one is in Germany. Now, the German people honoured the pagan god Odin during the midwinter holidays. Now, Germans unfortunately were terrified of Odin because he would take flights across the sky and basically observe his people as to who would prosper and who would perish. Now, because of his presence, the Germans chose to stay inside. It's not really a holiday as such, but it was more fear than anything else. This one's from Rome. Now, around the time of the winter solstice, Romans observed Juvenalia, a feast honouring the children of Rome. In addition, members of the upper class often celebrated the birthday of Merthyr, the god of the sun. On December 25th, it was believed that Merthyr, an infant god, was born of a rock. For some Romans, Merthyr's birthday was the most sacred day of the year. Are we seeing the tradition yet? Are we seeing the trend? Now, by holding Christmas at the same time as traditional winter solstice festivals, church leaders increased the chance that Christmas would be embraced. By giving up the ability to dictate how it was celebrated, by the Middle Ages, Christianity had, for the most part, replaced the pagan religion. Now, Christmas is supposed to be a pagan religion of Yule, as you've already known from Scandinavian history. So, the church took that on, created Christmas. Long story short, some people have discrepancies to when Jesus was born, whether it was in the spring. According to the Bible, shepherds were herding their cattle or their sheep, or whatever the case may be, at the time of his birth. That wouldn't happen in the winter. They would bed them down for the winter. They wouldn't be herding them. I think it was Pope Julius I came up with December the 25th as Christmas, as Jesus' birthday. Hence, them taking over the pagan holiday. Now, in 1620 America, pilgrims were even more orthodox in their beliefs, like Cromwell. Oliver Cromwell basically cancelled Christmas. Long story short, he basically said that it shouldn't happen, and King Charles III, that came to the throne, I think it was the third, eventually gave us Christmas back. Long story. The celebration of Christmas was actually outlawed in Boston, and anyone exhibiting the Christmas spirit was fined 5 shillings. By contrast, in the Jamestown settlement, Captain James Smith reported Christmas was enjoyed by all and passed without incident. So people were still celebrating Christmas, one way or another, whether it was outlawed or not. It's very similar to the Prohibition. When alcohol was it was outlawed, people were still drinking alcohol. Why would Christmas be any different? Now, if you're British, you will know who Charles Dickens is. But English author Charles Dickens created the classic holiday tale, A Christmas Carol. Now, the story's message showed the importance of charity and goodwill to all humankind. Now, this struck a chord in America and in England, and it showed members of the Victorian society the benefits of celebrating the holiday. Now, families become less disciplined and more sensitive to the emotional needs of children during the 18th century or 1800s. Christmas provided families with a day where they could lavish attention and gifts upon their children without appearing to spoil them. So Charles Dickens was kind of the creator of how we celebrate Christmas today. For us, it's about family, particularly in our household. It's all about family. Now, we do give gifts. We've got younger children in the house, and not so much in my household, but collectively across the family, we have smaller children, so we celebrate them. But it's all about being together as a family, as far as we are concerned. Now, if you've got kids listening in the room, I would probably not play this bit. So, the legend of Santa Claus can be traced back to a monk named Saint Nicholas, who was born in Turkey in around 280 AD. Saint Nicholas gave away all of his inherited wealth and travelled the countryside, helping the poor and sick, becoming known as a protector of children and sailors. St. Nicholas first entered American pop culture in the late 18th century in New York when the Dutch families gathered to honour the anniversary of St. Nicholas, or for short, Santa Claus. This is where his name came from. Now, in 1822, Minister Clement Clark Moore wrote a Christmas poem called An Account of a Visit from St. Nicholas, more popularly known today for its first line of "'Tis the night before Christmas." The poem depicted Santa Claus as a jolly man who flies from home to home on a sled driven by reindeer to deliver toys. Now, I never knew that. And I know a cartoonist actually drew out what we see today as Santa Claus. If memory serves me right, St. Nicholas, the actual St. Nicholas, wore green and white. We now see Santa Claus as red and white. Yet if you look at proper tradition of Christmas, dating back to the Victorians, everything was green and red. And that's where I think it came from. That's where we got, obviously, St. Nicholas, the actual saint, had green and white, and the comic cartoonist drew a Santa Claus. I don't think he coloured him in, but we kind of just speculated and added the red. So now we know Christmas as all red. So now that we've had a little bit of tradition, we're going to do some Christmas facts. So each year in the United States, there are 25 to 30 million Christmas trees sold. There are over 15,000 Christmas tree farms in the United States alone, and trees are usually grown between 4 and 15 years before they are sold. In the Middle Ages, Christmas celebrations were rowdy and ruckus, more like today's Mardi Gras parties that we see. When Christmas was cancelled from the year 1659 to 1681, the celebration of Christmas was outlawed in Boston and lawbreakers were fined. We heard that earlier. Christmas was declared a federal holiday in the United States on June 26, 1870. The first eggnog was made in the United States, was consumed in Captain John Smith's 1607 Jamestown settlement. Again, we heard about that earlier. Now, poinsettia plants. Again, a lot of people see poinsettia plants for Christmas. I know I do. Only recently I was looking at some poinsettia plants to see if I could get some for Christmas. We have a small real tree in our house because I have 2 dogs that try and eat my Christmas tree, so it has to be up high out of the way, so I get a little one. Anyway, so poinsettia plants are named after Joel R. Poinsett, an American minister to Mexico who brought the red and green plant from Mexico to America in 1828. Now, the Salvation Army have been sending Santa Claus-clad donation collectors into the streets since 1890. Rudolph, the most famous reindeer of all, was a product of Robert L. May's imagination in 1939. The copywriter wrote a poem about the reindeer to help lure customers to the Montgomery Ward department store. And last but no means least, construction workers started the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree tradition in 1931. So, from my household to yours, we wish you a Merry Christmas, a prosperous New Year, and we will see you very soon. Bye for now.